Hey guys, welcome to another episode of SEZZYFY. I'm at à la maison Chef Fregz, the top of the top, the celebrity chef himself
Thank you
in
so
our
much.
presence.
Thank you
One
so
of the
much.
first guys, or he says the first guy
The first.
to pioneer the space. Please tell me more about that and how you've executed this.
Thank you, first of all, for having me finally on SEZZYFY. I don't know. Honestly speaking, I'm going to be very frank. Being a celebrity chef was something that was at the back of my mind, not at the forefront. What was more important for me was I wanted to cook. I wanted to do what I saw Jimmy Oliver, Ainsley Harriott, Anthony Warren Thompson, and yeah, those three guys in particular. I just wanted to do what they were doing, and they just looked like they were having fun, and they were men, and I mean, we're black and African, and that's not very common. So I just wanted to be those guys badly, and I knew that they were popular because I knew them all the way in Lagos, Nigeria. But for me, it was just doing what they did, just being them first of all. So after coming back from Cordon Bleu,
Fantastic.
even just around that time, I just wanted to express myself. So I started writing for Bella Niger, and I started getting all these calls and connections to do things for like companies like Diageo, and my private clientele started to expand. And I got a call from people like Noor to be a judge on a TV show, be on their website. Wow. So that's kind of how it just like super exploded. But for me, what was more important was I was being authentic as a chef first, then the popular stuff came after.
Interestingly, in Nigeria, most parents, they're looking for their children to have a career in lawyer, doctor, the typical thing. So what was that reaction from your parents and said, I want to be a chef?
Honestly speaking, my dad was okay with it, but it wasn't his validation I was really after. My mom was the person I needed her validation the most, and she was a little skeptical. Not very, but she was quite skeptical. And she called me aside one day, was just like, what are people going to say that you went to school and you now want to cook? Like, she's just like, cooking is for catering and her last say and all of that stuff. But she didn't have, my vision and her vision were very different. My vision and her vision were very different, and I really wanted to be a chef. So, but my family believed in me, my mom's side of the family in particular, really believed in me, and they gave me that opportunity to go to school. So as much as maybe everybody didn't understand it, but they saw the potential because they traveled abroad. They saw men cook. One of my uncles who really spearheaded me going to Paris was like, it makes sense though, like all the chefs he knows in the world are men, so why not give this guy the opportunity? And they were just like, if you're going to do it, just go and do it in Paris. So that was what was, so it's not exactly like they were against it, but it's the usual first step, get a job. So
yes.
it was the usual first step, but I kind of stood my ground, especially because I got back from NYC in 2009, and I knew exactly what I wanted to do because I came out of a period of prayer and fasting, and I just knew like I was going to cook because I sent an email to an uncle of mine, and he advised me and said, don't bother working, because I did want to work in ExxonMobil. I did want to work in Vic Lawrence and Associates, a Moabudu human resource firm. But my uncle was like, no, go and do this food thing. Those people are not singing.
I'm sure you're glad you made that decision.
I'm overjoyed.
Really important. Because, I believe it's really important for people to believe in their passion. And like I said,
I'm going to pour you some wine. Keep talking.
Please. I'd love that.
It's a good red. It's an Italian red.
Fantastic.
One of my favorites in my collection.
Any recommendation of you, I trust, huh?
Exactly. It's it's just not 2061. I apologize. It's 2009. Okay, so cheers.
Santé.
Santé. So you were asking.
I'm saying it must be quite rewarding for you to chase your passion and to have that dream, especially a space that wasn't there. So, that's what I'm saying. Before you, I don't really feel like in that space, yes, we had chefs, but nobody made it a thing like how you have in Europe, like the names you talked about, So you must feel quite satisfied to be able to achieve that. And right now in Nigeria, the food culture has grown significantly.
It's just
and
transformed.
there's so many amazing new chefs coming day by day, So, you must feel like, a very important figure in that space to be one of the first to do it. And, you've inspired so many other chefs now. And it's an industry that's just going to continue growing.
I would just say that I'm extremely humbled and happy, that the space is what it is today, because before I started, if you were a chef, it was an embarrassment. It felt like, let me tell you a story.
Please.
I did something for
exclusive.
One of the brands I just talked about, and we did a catering event for them. and they only paid for a few people for my food. And it was running out, and there was a big queue coming towards my own station. And I predict, like, okay, the food is only going to get up to here. And I go and explain, like, sorry, you guys have to move to another queue. We're only paid for this amount of people. And some lady starts being very rude to me. And she's just like, oh, you caterers, you will take all our money and you will not bring enough food. I said, madam, I'm trying to explain to you that this is what happened. We're only paid for a certain amount of people. Our food is a little bespoke. And the woman she wasn't having it, and she kept on being very condescending to me. And I pointed to my badge or my uniform from Kodombo. I said, madam, I went to school for this thing. I'm not unfortunate in life. I was raising my voice, by the way. I said, I'm not unfortunate in life. Yeah. I'm not doing this because I don't have anything to do. I actually studied and paid money for this. So you're not going to speak to me like that because your company didn't pay me enough to feed all of you. People were like, oh my God, Chef Fregz, that's a top management person. Sometimes I said she didn't respect herself, so she could deserve what she got. What was the essential of the story? It just goes to show you how people treated people that cooked, because back then, yeah. You know, and this is 2011.
Imagine.
So
10 years ago.
So it's about 10 years. So it's taking 10 years for the space to become. Now, once you hear chef now, people either you are made fun of that your food is too bougie, or it's like, oh my God, it's too expensive. All the narrative has completely changed.
And you see, you've taken a lot of beating for a lot of these aspiring chefs and made it a bit more recognizable now for people to enjoy that space. So obviously, you know, being a celebrity chef, you must be cooking for a lot of important people. So I'm sure through your work, you've managed to meet a lot of interesting, and cool business people, entertainers, and stars. And like, what's that experience like?
It's been very humbling. I think some of my favorite experiences was I've cooked for a sheikh of Dubai before. Wow. I've cooked for presidents of countries. Like, it was a room full of power, just like.
And you're in there.
Just like a 2 million ton powered KVA generator room. That was incredible. I have cooked, where else has been interesting? I've cooked for very important people in this country. Like, I stepped into the room, I was like, oh, you're here, nice, interesting. I've done a ceremony in honor of Macron, the French president. I have done.
The list, the CV is just so long, people.
The CV, and because of what I do,
he's running out of...
It's super private, actually. I cannot even mention some things, but we've done the Italian consulate, we've done the American consulate, we've done Dubai Food Festival. But cooking for the sheikh, I just remembered, you know, when I say sheikh, he's one of royal family, so let's just put it like that. So that's interesting, yeah. And some other people that cannot even just remotely mention on camera.
Well, interesting. I'm sure you've had many private bookings. Yeah?
I've been working 10 years, of course I've had.
Too many to name. So during that time, you must have had some interesting, challenging, or some funny moments. You know, is there anything you could share to us about that?
A few.
Yeah.
During a private dinner, my client, my chef friend is helping out, and we're trying to open a bottle of wine, and he pours on my client.
Don't tell me the shirt was white.
It was all white.
Oh my God.
Top to bottom, it was in white.
Wow, not even just the shirt.
Red wine.
Recipe for disaster.
It wasn't a recipe for disaster. It was a ready prepped dish of doom.
Chaos.
It was an avalanche that happened instantly. I still have nightmares sometimes. One crazy day as well, we're doing a 13-course dinner for a client.
13 course?
13 course.
Damn.
And one of my cooks went ahead and cooked boar, a wild boar, and cooked the life. Cooked it to death. Jeez. And that was the next course we're meant to serve. I was just like, God, if this is where my career ends today, it was nice. It was a nice run. My client walks into the kitchen just like, oh, bro, we're a little stuffed. Can you just skip to dessert? I'm like, thank you, God. I had tears in my eyes because I was just like, I'd never seen God come through for me like that in my whole life. So we skipped to dessert like nothing happened, and that was the end of that dish because I didn't know how I was going to serve.
How would you even have dealt with that situation?
I didn't know how I was going to serve overcooked boar. Like, we were like,
you know,
Yeah.
You have to maintain those standards.
Like-
That would have been like, I don't know.
Like we're just like, we paid you too much money to give us overcooked
Oh my
meat.
God.
Yeah,
And then your
so-
name is out there. You know, that's the problem, you know, with being a high level chef. You have to maintain your consistency.
And I've faced those challenges too. Those are some challenges I face.
Yeah.
You know, I have a team, and the team sometimes, even I myself, I'm the one that drops the ball, and dropping that ball just does a lot of damage. So I've had my fair share of, we don't get Chef Fregz. It wasn't, you know, and I think it's important for me to say this because there's no perfection to life at all.
100%.
But I've just had more wins than I've had losses though. So yeah.
And that's how it has to be. So just going back, you never told us how that story with the red wine ended with the guy. How did you
Thankfully, there were people in the room that helped replace the shirt, and I don't know how I got through that night, I'll be honest. It was a blur.
Yeah.
Because
Was he a nice person or was he going trailblazing?
Woo!
You know, some people are like,
Let's just
they can
say-
be like, oh, you know.
Let's
and
just
then
say
some, you know,
let's just
people
say-
can just go
let's just-
completely wild.
Let's just say it wasn't, oh, it's okay. Let's just like that.
So I think that tells the rest of the story. So, just touching back on what you said, you know, because it's an art, you know, what you're doing, you know, it's a lot of passion and energy involved. How does it feel when somebody criticizes your food, you know?
I honestly really like constructive feedback, actually. I'm very big on criticism, and as chefs, you know, I esteem sometimes it's really terrible. We always think we've not done our best. We always think no matter how hard we try, we just think we could have put one less grain of salt or maybe an extra grain of salt. We feel like we should have done it like this, or we had an idea in our head and it didn't quite pan out. You know, we're constantly judging ourselves because we want at least our dish to be perfect. Because chefs were pretty much artists, and we feel like what we put on the plate is an expression, an extension of who we are.
That, yeah.
And you know, as human beings, human beings want to be loved and liked. So we want that, what we've produced with our hands, our mind, our technique, to be loved. But what we also really like, me in particular, I like it when it feels like you're growing me if you're giving me constructive feedback. Don't just tell me you don't like it. What did you think? So for example, I made a miso salted caramel ice cream the other day, and the idea was miso is salty, and it will be like the salty dish element to my thing, and bring a bit more umami to the ice cream.
Okay.
But I added a
I
bit.
like the detail there.
Yeah. But I went and was being extra, and I thought it wasn't salty enough or have a salty kick, and I added some fish sauce as well as sea salt crystals, and I thought it was fine. But by the time it churned, and I served it to the clients, they thought it was just like, it's a bit, maybe just a tad salty, and some of them. But some people on the table liked it. But I liked that because that was the first time I was making it. Like, it was a dish I'd done in my head, but I hadn't done it, you know, in a while. So I actually do like constructive feedback. But when it's just like,
Oh, you know,
I hated
yeah.
it.
That's what I can imagine. You know, some people
damaging.
here, like, you know, not everybody is going to be. I think what I've heard from a lot of chefs here, there's a challenge sometimes with exposure to food culture in Nigeria. You know, we love our traditional food a lot.
So, in a sense, how would I put it without sounding arrogant? In a sense,
Please tell us as it is.
I've experienced those kind of things where people don't understand what I'm trying to do. That's like on Instagram, I'm very vocal about it. I'm just like, you can't come on my page and say, oh, where's the rest of the food? Like, don't do that. I'm just like, you didn't experience the dining experience.
Exactly.
We can't serve you eba and pounded yam in 4 courses. We're not going to be doing that here.
Yeah.
We're going to allow you to enjoy the food in small artistic presentations, and you will have a whole dinner experience. My dining experience they come with stories, they come with thoughts, they come with so many things. So, but I've been very fortunate to have more people that understand what I'm trying to do.
I love that, you know, what you said about, you know, coming with stories. You know, for me, the art of, you know, food, it's not just making a meal, but there's so much that goes into it. The story of how you sourced the best ingredients, how they've come up with the recipe, what inspired the dish, you know,
why we plated it the way we plated it.
And that's for me with food culture. It's my attraction to, like, you know, all these top-end chefs. You know, it's a lot of effort if you see what they do. It's a real art form. And like, for instance, like I'm based in the watch in making industry, and I work with watches, and you have like 365 components in a watch, which are, you know,
What's the word? It's very just like tiny details
Yes,
that need to
tiny,
come
tiny,
together.
tiny details, basically, you know, to put this watch together. So many baby components, and it's the same thing that goes into making a dish.
Thank you. So I tell people, for example, like you may see a small dish on a plate. For example, you may think, oh, it's just a tiny dish, but there was a purchasing run that had to happen. There was sometimes to get that small piece of meat on your plate, it was braised for maybe 7 hours in the oven.
7 hours.
Then
yeah, that's 7 hours. Could be 10, could be 20.
Then he has to chill. Then we have to pack it properly so that the food doesn't go bad. Then we have to, you know, get to the venue and heat it up to the right consistency. Heat it up in the pan, and while making sure all the other elements are hot, making sure that the plates are hot. To our plates, we have to stick them in an oven before we bring them out. We have to work quickly. So when a plate of food arrives to you and it looks small, there's so much that has gone into making sure that that plate of food has come out so that your meat is at a pass. Sometimes what I don't even like is, oh, my food was cold. That's a problem because the food has just maybe sat too long. You know, maybe somebody forgot to, you know, stick the plates in the oven, because when you put the plates in the oven, it keeps the food hot. So there's a lot of hard work that goes into what looks like a small plate of food because it adds to the experience that you're getting.
And you can see, you just defined that perfectly. You see, it's one little dish, but the hours that take to create that is where all the energy comes from. So, you know, I really love like fine dining, you know, and you know, the experiments of chefs to create really interesting meals. You know, it's not only about what you're making, but also the presentation. It's all about all these things. And we don't have that many fine dining experiences in Nigeria. A lot of restaurants claim the fine dining, but they are actually not fine dining. I feel like a lot of things are often like misused with description of food here. And when do you think we're gonna have a Michelin star restaurant?
No comment.
By a Nigerian chef in Nigeria.
I think there are a few contenders.
In the country. I would love that experience.
There are a few contenders in the country, and I'm not going to name names because it would look like I'm playing politics, but I would say one thing, just to be very, there are a few of us chefs that are really doing fine dining, but I would just say that there's just a few of us that are really in the running to do Michelin star food. I think if I'm going to mention one person outside myself, God, how do I say this without sounding horrible and making it look like somebody else is better than me? First of all, I'm not in competition with anybody. I don't think anybody's necessarily better than me. You may like somebody else's food over mine and think somebody's better than me. That's your thoughts and your opinion, and you're entitled to it. But I'd say with what I see now, Eton Test Kitchen by Michael Elegbede is something that can totally bag a Michelin star. I don't see why not.
It's funny enough, before you mentioned that, apart, like another name that was coming into my head when you said that, because I haven't been to the restaurant, but I will go soon. When I've seen from people's stories on Instagram, I like the detail he's had in his cuisine and what he's done. So I agree with that opinion.
Yeah,
and,
I think.
And I hope he does it. Please, if you're watching this,
but
we need you to make this happen.
This is feedback that I've gotten, and this is not just me even tooting my own horn or anything, but I've served some really important people to me who are clients, and not because they're clients, but a few times they've had the food, they're just like, "Bring me Michelin star." They're like, "Bring me Michelin star." There's no difference. I've had comments like, "When we've been."
That was leading to my next question.
Yeah,
I'm going to ask you.
Ask me what?
When are you going to take that step?
When am I going to take that step to the restaurant?
To the restaurant.
So the restaurant is happening.
Fantastic.
And I've taken time to really like reflect on, because over the last 10 years of my life, I think I've said it that I think I've done what other people wanted me to do. I've created so many avenues of expressions of who I thought I was, but now I'm thankful for like some really good people I had around me who really made me understand that I have a magic inside of me. And I'm trying to just put that magic on a plate now and let it come from like me, not the expectations of what I think the clients would like, you know, because I've done that for a long time. But now I want to just try and define like my food. My food has been described as eccentric, very fusion. People have told me that they like that my food feels foreign, but it has a very familiar flavor palette, you know, to the African tongue. So I'm just like, I think I'm going to just keep fine tuning what that concept is.
So guys, watch this space. So Chef Fregz Michelin star restaurant.
So the restaurant is
coming
fun, but I
soon.
really have had clients tell me, like, I mean, we've been to Japan, south of France, Paris, London, America, everywhere that we go to Michelin star restaurants. Like, I mean, this is some of these dishes are better than that. I remember
that must be super encouraging.
Super encouraging. I had someone
the
2
kind of
weeks
people
ago.
that you-
2 weeks ago, tell me, I mean, Michelin star. Just like, and these are people that spend money.
Money
They
on food,
fly
and they know.
specifically. So
I mean,
I
that's
didn't
the
say
best
they said
praise.
it.
Exactly. What more do you need from that? So we're at the à la maison Fregz, and Chef, we can't come to your home and not try anything. Do you have anything special surprise for me to?
It's not a surprise. I told you I was going to make you my signature dish. So what I'm going to do today, for you, I'm just going to walk you through one of the signature dishes that I have. Probably dishes like this around the world, but I just had the idea of doing a chicken and a carrot dish. And it's something that I've done on my menu countless times. It's evolved in so many different ways.
It's a Chef Fregz special.
You know what's so funny I say about Chef Fregz special? I did something called Chef Fregz special for 13, seasons basically. I did 13 Chef Fregz specials, and it was one of the things that also cemented this whole celebrity chef thing, because there was no event where there was a chef cooking special meals anywhere. So I used to do it at Get Arena and Licious Cafe. Those are very beginning stories of my life as well. So doing that really cemented my popularity amongst my folks, like my mates and demographic and generation. So that was a really good time. So yeah, I'm doing chicken and carrots for you. And it's one of our signature dishes on the Chef Fregz menu, so I'm very happy about
Can't wait to try that.
Yeah, sure.
So guys, we're in the kitchen of the famous celebrity chef, Chef Fregz.
À la cuisine sale.
À la cuisine sale. You hear that? Huh? We say it in française.
En française.
En française.
Oui, d'accord.
D'accord, d'accord. So you're gonna get an inside scoop, what it's like to be in the kitchen with the celebrity chef and see how he does his magic.
Don't mind says no. So I'll just be walking you guys through one of the iconic dishes at Chef Fregz. It's chicken and carrots. And I'll be walking says no to it, and I hope you guys just pay close attention. And one of these days you'll book me. So SEZZYFY, what I'm going to do for you, I'm going to walk you through the dish, and you're actually going to be doing some cooking.
Cooking, guys.
You're going to plate some of the food. So it's important to roast the chicken breast on the bone as well to maintain juiciness. Alright, so we are going to use, so this oil is already flavored with garlic, thyme, shallots. It's yummy.
I can smell. I feel like chicken is always a bit tricky to cook sometimes.
Chicken is tricky to cook because of how difficult it is to get the doneness and juiciness
exactly. To
of it all.
not dry it out and then make sure it's not raw, because the salmonella, it's a real thing.
It's a real problem.
It's a real thing, guys.
This is the wing. We take off the wing, we chop up all the meat, and we fry it up. So this has had some time to set in the fridge, some fresh herbs, some spices. We roll it up into a lovely ball. Because sometimes some garlic. And I need you guys want that? I'm going to just touch the chicken. It's still a bit raw. And because we're cooking on the bone, it's still raw here. So 10-15 minutes at about 180 to 200 centigrade in the oven, and it should just be perfect. Has cumin, coriander, and fennel inside. We just make a big batch and keep it here at Chef Fregz.
You hear that? Sorry, audience, you see the amount of elements going into this one dish, huh?
And we have some
Details.
we have some fine Porto wine that we are going to right now put into this chicken stock that's reducing. A small sprig of rosemary, and I'm going to just clap my hand on some celery.
Yeah, what's that slap for? What's that?
Just to
what
bruise,
extra
just to
nest
bruise
is that?
the tangerine.
Okay.
But you can we usually use orange zest, a bit of that in.
My goodness. So many elements. What's the perception of this dish? Obviously, if it's something you're
Well,
making
it's
a
one of
lot.
our hits. It's never gone off.
Nice.
Here's another chicken element. This is the chicken wing.
Okay.
All right, we've made it into a mint, and we're going to fry it off in the confit oil. But I'm going to take off that oil first. Well, let's. There are some carrots. We'll boil them down in butter. Added a bit of garlic to it, and we have this velvety, cute, bright yellow, orangey carrot puree.
That's very juicy. Really nice.
Super juicy, flavorful.
Guys, we're at the plating stage right now with Chef Fregz. As you all know, with cooking really fine food, plating is a big deal. The appearance matters a lot, and he's going to give us a few tips on how to do this.
So with the carrot puree, I usually just like to lay quite a bit down somewhere, and I used to be wanting to spread. I would still spread it around the plate, but I like to keep one as warm as possible on the plate. It has to be a little artistic. I'm just going to give this maybe some. Some of this fresh coriander, baby stems or baby leaves rather. Personally, just wanted to make the plate as aesthetically pleasing. This is our croquette wing that was placed in the shoe. Oh, there are different elements. I'm just struggling to. Let's do that. No, I'm going to do.
Okay. That is delicious. The chicken is really smooth. You can tell from the brining. It's really had an effect on the chicken. Beautiful. And the puree, velvety, nice. You can taste the citrus.
And it's just really
Really great.
simple. It's just really simple.
Simple but very effective with the pickled carrots as well. So much flavor.
That's actually my favorite.
I love the dish. It's so
Have you
nice.
tried the croquette?
No, I haven't done the croquette.
Go ahead, try it. Take it.
Yummy. There's abundance of spices in my mouth right now, which is really.
What you're actually tasting in the chicken wing is mushroom seasoning. Actually.
That's really nice.
So I tried to add like a meaty element to it without adding meat.
What's this? Just chicken?
Chicken wing, some herbs, fresh herbs, and the only dried seasoning.
And it tastes really fresh as well.
It's very fresh stuff. So yeah, there you have it.
Thank you, chef. This is really.
So as much as you've SEZZYFY'd me today, I hope I've Fregzified you as well.
Yeah. Chef, that was an amazing meal.
Thank you
Chicken
so
and
much.
carrot, very simple, but simply delicious. Thank you, Chef Fregz, for this amazing experience in your home. I
You're very
really
welcome.
enjoyed it. It was a
Super
lovely time to get into your home and your kitchen
You're welcome.
and taste the famous chicken and carrot dish. Simple dish, but you know, you showed us through the ropes. I really enjoyed that process of understanding how you make these masterpieces of dishes come to life. It was a lovely experience.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed your time on SEZZYFY as well.
I loved it. I want to be back very soon.
Fantastic.
So thank you, SEZZYFY, for having me. I'm a huge fan. I'm very excited about what you're doing. I can't wait to be back.
Thanks, Chef. I really enjoyed this. Really enjoyed having you guys.
Guys, thank you so much for watching this episode of SEZZYFY. Like, comment, share, and follow us on SEZZYFY for everything luxury, for everything